Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are having a fantastically awesome day so far. My day is going pretty good. Thank you very much for asking. Today we are reacting to Mardi Gras king cake with crawfish and Boudin sausages. I was sitting on Malcolm's channel looking for a load of recipes to try out in my outdoor kitchen because I'm starting to build that next week. In case you didn't hear me the last 500 times I've brought it up, I'm just so excited I can't shut up about it. And this recipe popped up, and I know it's not technically barbecue, but I thought, you know what, I want to check it out because Malcolm's food always looks awesome. So I can't wait to check this out, and it might be something I can give a try in the future because I have been doing some research and Kat and I have found a shop that is about 3 hours away that sells seafood, so I might be able to try some of this stuff out. But before we get into today's video, if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, that'll be freaking awesome. Also, down in the description is my email address. If you guys have got any recipes or things you'd like me to try out once my outdoor kitchen is finally built next week, well, I'm starting next week, I don't know how long it's going to take me, please let me know. Send me an email. I'll be happy to try some recipes, and yeah, you guys can have a good giggle at me messing things up because I'm sure I'll make a lot of mistakes while I'm learning, but that's the whole fun of learning, isn't it? Anyway, without further ado, let's check out Mardi Gras king cake with crawfish and Boudin sausage.
Hey, welcome back to How to Barbecue Right. I'm Malcolm.
I love this guy.
Today I'm going to show you how I make something special, a Boudin king cake. Now, king cakes traditionally are a sweet dessert, even great for breakfast. They got the icing on it, filled with good stuff, but typically they're really sweet. Well, I'm going to flip the script and do a savory version. I've got some of my favorite food groups going in. We got meat, cheese, carbs. You know it's going to be good. Boudin sausage, crawfish tails. Let's le bon temps roulé. Let's get to cooking, y'all. Today I've got sausage, crawfish tails. Let's le bon temps roulé. Let's get to cooking, y'all.
I don't know what he said there.
Today I've got some pork Boudin sausage. Now, Boudin is a rice sausage. That means it's got meat in there, it's got rice, it's got some other seasoning and vegetables. So the first thing I'm going to do,
I think we can get sausages very similar to those here. I'm pretty sure anyway. I know we can get sausages that look the same. Whether or not they're rice sausages, I'm not sure. I will have to check it out though because
this Boudin sausages, get it out of this casing. It's got a natural pork casing to it, and it can be tough when it's cooked. And I don't want that inside my king cake. I want all those flavors to meld together. I don't want anything to be a barrier and hold it back or tough to chew on. It's real easy. Just cut a little split on it and wrap it out. Now, Boudin sausage is firm enough to stay together. If you heat it up too much, it can fall apart, but we're not going to do that today. And y'all, if you've never had Boudin, I like to eat it smoked a little bit on a cracker with some hot sauce. Now, I've got my grill running at 350 degrees today. I'm going to hold it there the whole time. You could use whatever kind of pellet.
Sorry, someone's trying to phone me. Let me just turn that off. All right, done.
You want when you're smoking this, you could use whatever kind of grill. You can even do it in the oven. What I'm going to do is put these Boudin links on the grill. I just want to warm them up on the smoker a little bit. Give them a little bit of a head start before we put them in the king cake. This is going to help them cook all the way through. It's going to make my job a little bit easier. Now, while that Boudin's getting happy on the smoker, I'm going to show you how I make this crawfish cream cheese mixture that's going inside the king cake. Starting with the block of room temperature cream cheese. Now, you need about
Is that just like Philadelphia?
Crawfish tails. Now, these crawfish tails are fully cooked. You can eat these jokers right now. But we're going to take them up to another level by seasoning them up, put them inside this king cake. I'm going to add a little bit of green onion in here, give us a little pop of color, little extra flavor. And y'all know I gotta season everything. So we're putting some of my Cajun season, that King Craw. And don't be shy, I like to season everything pretty heavily. That looks good.
That's one of my favorite things with him. He seasons things like I season things. Like sometimes Kat will be like, what are you doing? That's way too much. I'm like, shh, calm down. It'll be all right. I love it. I love to put loads of seasoning on.
If I had to guess, that's about a tablespoon, y'all. And then I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of hot sauce. You can use your favorite Cajun season, your favorite hot sauce. You don't wanna get it too wet though, so just use, a couple good shakes of that hot sauce. And then just fork everything together. And we kind of just fold it. You don't wanna break up the tails too much, but you want it mixed pretty good. All right, that looks mixed up right there. It's good enough to eat like this, y'all.
Did you see his face? I had to eat.
That looks mixed up right there. It's good enough to eat like this, y'all. You can warm that up in the smoker, eat it with some chips or crackers. Shoot, that'd be good. Now let me show you how we're going to assemble this king cake. Now I'm using these Pillsbury buttery flaky crescent rolls today. I did these at deer camp last week. It turned out excellent. So I'm going to use them again in this version. Hit them on the thing and let them explode.
We can't get that here. I did have a look. We can't get them. I know we can get like puff pastry, pre-puff pastry. Is that the same thing? I don't know.
Unrolling these crescent roll triangles, and we're just forming them around our sheet pan here, kind of in a reef shape. Sometimes the dough tears a little, that's okay. It ain't got to be perfect, but what we want is to keep that form going so we can stuff it and roll it all up. So I've got the crescent roll dough all laid out on top of the butcher paper over the pan. Always use that butcher paper because the dough doesn't stick to it. It makes it easy to transfer it to the grill, and when I'm serving it, I can cut it right on that paper. So now we're ready to add our crawfish cream cheese mixture to our pastry. I'm just going to take it and just kind of put a little trail of it all the way around. Doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to kind of keep it in the middle.
Get it
We
now.
got our heated up boudin here. We're just going to start connecting here. And since I got it out of the casing, look at that. I can make a perfect little circle. And since I got a little leftover bite,
chef's tasty.
little hot sauce, little warm boudin. Oh yeah. Now all we got to do is start folding up our crescent roll dough and just pick a point. We just want to close it up over.
I was confused by that hole in the middle. I thought he was going to put it in the middle and then fold it in. I was like, well, why don't you fill in the big gap in the middle? But now I get what he's doing.
You can stretch it a little bit. But remember, this is kind of rustic. There ain't no right or wrong way to do it. But we kind of got them overlapped, so it shouldn't be too hard. But you can see all the segments. It's kind of layered like a king cake is supposed to be. And you can see I got some little cracks in it. I got some crevices.
That's
for that
all right.
cheese to ooze as it heats up, but it looks great right now. All we got to do is cook it. All right, that silverback setting on 350. We're just ready to slide it in. We're gonna let the grill do its thing. It's gonna take about 45 minutes. We want it to be golden brown. Now, while that king cake's cooking, I'm gonna show y'all something real special. A crawfish cheese dip that we're gonna use to top this king cake once it comes off the pit. So I got a little olive oil going in my iron skillet here. And we're just gonna saute up some vegetables for this crawfish cheese dip. You gotta have a little of that onion, red bell pepper. We'll let that go just a couple minutes here. Cajun flavors gotta have some bell pepper and onion. After those vegetables are softened up a little.
In Cajun cooking, it's called the Holy Trinity, isn't it? Or something like that. There's like 3. Peppers, onions, and I can't remember the last one, isn't it? I'm sure it's
now I'm
something
gonna
like
add
that.
my garlic. Smell it so good. Peppers, onions, garlic. And once that garlic's had a little time, go ahead and add this half a pound of crawfish tails. And we got to get some seasoning on it, y'all. Going back with that Cajun King Craw, and just for good measures. A little more of that hot
Some more hot
sauce. Y'all
sauce,
got
a
to
little
trust
bit
me
more.
on this one. This is what's going to be the cheese dip element. Now, I've got some of my buddies' Arbo's cheese dip. You can use whatever kind of white queso cheese dip you want. This one's fantastic. I know it's got Mexican flavors, but it's gonna work with these Cajun flavors we got going on too. Let's just pour this cheese dip right on top. Cut the heat back a little. We're just wanting to heat the cheese dip up. Let it thin down a little bit. Let it mix. And I'm just gonna let this crawfish cheese dip hang out till we get ready for it at the end. I'm about 35 minutes in on our king cake. It's looking beautiful, kind of browning on one side. So what I'm gonna do is just take the paper here and spin it. Get this side brown. I've been watching it close. That 45-minute mark, it wasn't quite brown, but now after we spun it, it's brown all over. That's how you want it to look. Total cook time was 50 minutes. I'm gonna ease it off here, if I can do it without burning myself. But that is how a king cake's supposed to look once it comes off the smoker. All right, now this thing looks and smells unbelievable right now.
Oh, it's gonna be good. It has to be.
Rolls, all that goodness on the inside.
I wasn't sure on that cheese dip, but now that it's all done and it's done, it looks epic.
That cheese is hot and melty. But we're gonna put our crawfish cheese dip over the top. All I'm gonna do is just kind of spoon it and let it run down where it wants to go. You don't have to get super crazy with it. If there's any extra, you can always eat that as dip. Serve it with it. For your guests that want a little more cheese sauce. Oh, it looks good. I'm gonna dress it up with a little bit of chopped green onion. Give it that Mardi Gras flair. And then I've got some crushed up pork rinds that I'm going to just put on for a little
This
crunch
guy's a
right
legend. That looks awesome. Little
fresh
pork
crackers.
rinds.
You got those, go for it.
I would never think of using that. That is freaking such a good idea.
That's a thing of beauty right there. If I don't say Boudin
that does
king
look good.
Cake, I don't know what does. Now, Shell and I are going to dive into this recipe on our weekly podcast. Y'all want to hear us talk about that? Y'all jump over to the podcast channel. Moment of Truth. We got that crawfish cheese dip on top. Big bite of the boudin.
Come on, give us a close-up.
Holy smokes. There ain't nothing wrong with that. You think that ain't good? Something wrong with you. The cheese dip.
Something wrong with you if you don't think that's good.
The hot boudin. It's spicy. All those flavors go right together with that cream cheese crawfish mixture in the middle. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us today at How to Barbecue Right. If you like.
Thank you, Malcolm. I will sign up to your podcast or subscribe to it on Spotify. I love this guy's food. It's just, I don't like things too precious, if you know what I mean. I don't want it to look good. Okay, it needs to look decent, but I mean, it doesn't need to look like some Michelin star thing where you've got half a flippin' piece of meat on a tiny little plate and it's like, oh yeah, 500 euros, please. Just give me food. I want it to look like food. I hope that makes sense. I'm really hungry now. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like I say, if you've got any recipes you'd like me to try out when I've got this outdoor kitchen going, please feel free to email them to me. I'm feeling extremely tired. I was awake crazy early this morning and I couldn't get back to sleep, so I think I'm going to go lie down. Yeah, I'll probably get moaned at, but that's okay. Anyway, have a fantastic rest of your day and I will see you in the next video. Peace.